Jingle bell.
Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm so excited to share this video with you guys. I ended up making this truck cake. It's super cute. I totally love it. I got this idea off of TikTok, of course. So I saw this video where this lady was making this truck. If you know Nicholas loves trucks and cars. So he saw the TikTok with me and he was super excited, and I told him, "You want me to make this cake?" And he said yes. So it's kind of a surprise, kind of, sorta. He's at my dad's house right now, and I'm going to be picking him up in a little bit so that he could see the truck cake. But this was the day before. I had him help me make the cake, and so here he is trying to help me. He loves making cakes, so it's super cute. But if you want to learn how to make it, keep watching. I will tell you one thing, that it's not perfect. The thing that matters is that I made it for Nicholas. Nicholas loves cake and trucks, so that's all that matters, right? But it was kind of difficult to make. But if you want to continue watching and see how I made it, keep watching. Okay guys, so let's go ahead and start with the ingredients. The first thing you're going to need is a 10-inch cake. I used a yellow cake. I actually made a yellow cake. You're also going to need one of these cake boards to put your cake on. I actually thought it was kind of small, so here in a little bit you'll see that I put it on another tray just because it was kind of small. You're going to need the waffle cones because this is what you're going to be making your Christmas tree out of. And the Kit Kat, just one is fine because that's what you're going to be putting at the bottom of the tree so that it's kind of like the tree trunk. I'm going to be showing you how to make buttercream in this video also. You're going to be using this butter. Blue Bonnet is my favorite that I like to use to make my buttercream, but you can use whatever you want. I don't know, or it's actually kind of hard to make red frosting, so I was being kind of lazy, so I actually went and bought some. And then you're going to need vanilla, white frosting. Again, I didn't really want to make so much, so I went and bought some. And you're going to need some piping bags. Okay, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to turn your cake upside down so that you can start working with it, of course, blah blah blah. So what I want to do is I want to cut it in half. I was thinking about cutting the top off, but I wasn't sure, so at first I just kind of cut it in half, but then I thought to myself, you know what, I don't like the way that the dome is on top, so I went ahead and cut the top. So if you have one of these really cool tools that you can just cut across, you just cut your cake across just like this, and then the extra cake you just put it back in your pan, and of course you get to enjoy this. And this cake was super delicious. It was super good. Of course I had to have a bite. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some of the frosting on one of the ends, and I'm going to be placing them just like this. So see how they're perfectly fit together? I didn't like how it was kind of like a dome on top, and if it was like that, I don't know, I just feel like it didn't look nice. Okay, so now what you're going to do is you're going to put some frosting in your piping bag. I went ahead and bought this vanilla frosting just because I didn't want to make a lot. So this is what I'm doing right now, is I'm putting some vanilla frosting in my piping bag, and I'm going to be putting some on the half of my cake just like this. You can just end up using buttercream or whatever frosting you want, but this is just what I wanted to do. Of course, we were just going to eat the cake at home, so it didn't really matter, or you can just use whatever frosting you have on hand. Okay, so now that I put the frosting on one of the ends or one of the sides, you're going to be putting your cakes up just like this and sticking them together. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to get your cake board, and you're going to be putting some frosting in the middle of your cake board so that you can stick your cake on top. If you don't do this part, your cake is probably going to fall over or possibly, you know, kind of slide off. So you got to make sure that you do this part. You're just going to put a little bit of the frosting and just make sure you smear it across where your cake is going to be, just like this. Then you're going to take your cake carefully and you're going to put it right on top of the frosting, just like this. See? Perfect. I did notice though that the cake board was not long enough, so here in a little bit I'm going to show you where I got the Christmas tray, and I just put it underneath because this is going to be the bed of the truck, and I felt like it just wasn't long enough, so I needed something else. So as you can tell, I got the Christmas tray, and I'm going to be putting it underneath because I just didn't want to start the whole process. And now it's a little bit longer so the cake bed can go on the end just like this. Now I'm getting ready to show you how I'm going to be cutting the cake and forming it into a Christmas truck. I'm going to be cutting it, I'm going to say, you know, like a triangular shape or an L shape, whatever you want to call it. But this is going to be for the front of the truck, and this is going to be where you're basically just making the shape of the truck. At this point, this is going to be the bed of the truck, the end of the truck. I thought that I kind of left it too high, so here in a little bit you're going to see that I kind of cut a little bit more. This part right here goes at the end because it's going to add more, and then of course you need to cut off just a little bit so it's not so long and doesn't look so funny, because it kind of looks funny. Here you can see that I'm putting some of the frosting so that it can attach nicely, and then if you can tell that of course one of them is a little bit smaller, so I'm going to go ahead and cut it. Here I'm showing you what it's starting to look like. I know it looks a little bit funny, but don't worry, it's going to look just fine after you start frosting it, okay? So I'm gonna get the red frosting that I bought at Walmart. This is the Wilton frosting that I like to use sometimes. It's very hard for me to get red frosting, to actually make red frosting, so usually when I do have to use red frosting, I always buy it. So I'm gonna be putting some in my piping bag like this. I'm not using any piping tips at this moment, but I will in a little bit. But this is how I put my frosting inside my piping bag, and I like to twist it a little bit. And I started to put, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to make your crumb coat, which is probably not my favorite part just because there's always crumbs everywhere and it just doesn't look very nice. But it'll look just fine. So here I noticed that it was just kind of tall enough and it just didn't look like it was going to look okay, so I wanted to just cut a little bit of the top off just like this, and I went ahead and added the rest of the some of the red frosting. And I'm going to be, of course this is just fast forward so it's sped up, and basically you just want to get red frosting all over your cake so that we can cover all of the frosting. I just said frosting, but it's not frosting. We could cover all of the cake. Oh my goodness, guys. What is wrong with me? Anyways, here I am using my spatula, and I'm going to be spreading it everywhere. Again, the crumbs will get everywhere, but that's fine. Just clean it up. Not a big deal. Just go ahead and spread it everywhere. And I went ahead and put it in the refrigerator for about 15 minutes so that it can harden up so I can add my second layer of frosting. Here I'm going to be showing you how I make my frosting. I will put all the details of the measurements that I'm going to be using in the description. That way I'm not talking and talking and talking like I'm doing right now. And then I'm going to be putting in some of the Confectioners Sugar, and I'm going to be blending that as well. So I'm also going to be adding a tablespoon of milk and then a teaspoon of vanilla extract, just like this. I like to make my buttercream. I think it's very, very delicious. Here I'm showing you that I used about 3/4 of the bag. I will be putting the measurements in the description so you have that. But I love making this buttercream, but I didn't want to use the buttercream on all of the cake just because, again, the red frosting is kind of hard to make. But this is what it looks like at the end. It's so delicious. I highly recommend you make the buttercream. Here, after being in the refrigerator for about 15-20 minutes, I'm going to be making I'm going to be adding the second layer of the red frosting just so that it doesn't look so weird. I don't know, just the crumb coat just doesn't look very nice and you don't want to leave it like that. So I added some red, and I'm going to be trying to make it smooth as possible. I know, again, I probably said this like I don't know how many times. It's not gonna be perfect, and it's fine. I beat myself up sometimes just because I think that it just doesn't look nice, but I mean, it's okay. The cake is what matters. The cake is nice. I mean, yummy. And here I am trying to smooth it out. You can see how it's starting to look a lot nicer. You don't really see as much crumbs as you could before. So you want to just add some frosting and smooth it out, just like this. Just try your best, guys. This was my first time making it. I was just super excited to make it for Nicholas, and I enjoyed the cake. He enjoyed the cake. Emilio and Evie did. Everybody did. It was yummy. Okay? All right. So now here in a little bit, after I'm done putting that second coat of red on there, it looks perfectly fine. I think it looks good. I'm gonna go ahead and pipe on the windows. I had to make some black frosting. Evie actually helped me make this. Basically what I'm doing is just putting some square shaped windows using the black frosting. I then get my spatula and I'm going to smooth it out just so it can look a little bit nicer. If you have a different technique, that's fine. This is just how I did it. Then I'm going to be adding a second window on the other side, just like this, piping it on, and then I'm going to smooth it out again using my spatula, just like that. Then the next thing I wanted to do, I wanted to show you how I made the bed of the truck. So I'm going to be adding some of the black frosting and just smoothing it out here in a little bit. This was for the bed of the truck. I think at this point I was starting to like the cake and I decided, wow, you know, I was thinking to myself, it actually looks very nice. I mean, obviously it could look better, but whatever. So then here I added just a little rim of the red frosting. And then now I'm going to be piping on the tires, just like this. I made a little circle, and then I made another one on the end, on the back of the truck. And then I went ahead and kind of added, like, what would you call this? The bumper? I don't know. Somebody help me. And I did both of the sides, just like this. It's starting to look very nice. Now my favorite part, I love this part just because, I don't know, I just thought the tree, the Christmas tree, just came out super cute. I added the waffle cone. I stuck the Kit Kat bar on the inside. This was for the tree trunk, just like this. And then I put some of the green. I had to make some green frosting with my with the buttercream frosting. I used buttercream frosting for this part. I made some green frosting and I used my 1M Wilton tip for this part. I feel like maybe I should have used a smaller tip for this, but it just worked out just fine. And here I am piping on the tree, just like this. I feel like just like this is my favorite word, right? I'm sure you would agree. And look how beautiful it looks. I think it looks super cute. What do you think? Tell me. Comment down below if you're able to comment down below. Now what I'm doing is I'm piping just a little white part onto the tire, just like this. Here I am saying like this again. And then I'm going to be adding some headlights to the front of the truck. Now I'm going to be putting the snow on the bottom of the truck, like on the ground, which is like the snow, and the truck is sitting on it. This was probably my favorite part also, just because here I'm going to be showing you how to smooth it out. And when I smooth it out, I don't know, it just kind of looked like the snow and it looks so pretty. Just kind of pipe it on, then you're gonna get your spatula and you're gonna smooth everything around, kind of make it look like snow. I thought by this time I really was liking the truck, guys. I mean, isn't it super cute? Then we decided to add a wreath at the front. The lady that made the truck ended up putting a bow also, but I just didn't have any red left. And now for the last thing you're going to do is you're going to add the Confectioners Sugar using a mesh colander, and you just basically tap the colander just a little bit and you get this cute look with the snow on top. And guys, I fell in love. It was super cute, honestly. I mean, come on. I mean, it doesn't look perfectly fine, but it looks super cute. I loved it. All right, so if you're able to comment down below, tell me what you think. I love this cake. It was super yummy. Nicholas loved it. Everybody loved it. I don't know. Tell me what you think. And if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. And don't forget to hit the bell so you can get notified every time that I post a video. Again, thank you so much for watching. Bye.